what are you wearing? And if they get offensive, what am I wearing? That's where it goes. But that's in everything.
It is a conversation, to take it back, that before prom night, a lot of couples had that conversation. They at least color coordinated in a way. And if we could have those conversations when we were 16, we certainly should be able to have them at 35.
Of course.
Right?
They forget that part.
What do you want me to wear? Nothing. Is it going to lead to that?
Show up naked with no panties on, or I don't know. What does that look like?
But you're right. There's ways to make these things playful and fun and engaging, and learn something about the other person and learn what they like. A lot of times we only learn what they like when something goes bad and we did something that they disliked and then it just blew up in front of us. But there's ways to have these conversations, and we're afraid to ask questions that seem obvious, but you're trying to, not to be obvious, but you're trying to show you're interested. I'm trying to be interested in you. What do you like? What do you need? What are the triggers that make you safe and happy and comfortable and all the things that he wants you to do? Right?
I agree with that. But it's, again, we keep saying communication.
Right.
It's like some people just don't listen. And, you want to go and you want to do what you want to do. But let's just go back to that first asking out. As a man, stop letting everybody, if she says okay that or has a suggestion, take it. If she stalls around, grab your little balls up and make them big boy balls again and say, okay, we're going here. You need to be here, or would you like for me to send a car? Whatever that looks like for you. There's Uber everywhere. I mean, sending a car is not as incredible as it used to be. It's, I'll send you an Uber
we used to send a car service.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
literally pick you up.
Yeah, exactly. But, time, that's one of those evolution things.
I'll send a Hyundai for you.
Hey,
Fire up that
have you
Versa.
seen the race cars that are Hyundais? You never know what you're going to get.
Bad. Yeah.
Let's not knock the Hyundais.
You're right. If she is wishy-washy or not giving you the information, take your shot on what you think will be fun for the two of you. And if that doesn't work out, then you're going to go on to the next, But you are going to get more... you said catch more flies with honey. You're gonna I don't know, with balls and taking initiative and taking the lead and being like, this is what we're gonna do. Too many men now do this. Hey, we're gonna be at this place at 7:00 on Thursday. If you're not doing anything, you want to come?
Absolutely.
Like, come along with me and my plans, instead of saying, would you like to go out with me and you, versus meet up, hang out. Here's my friends. You want to try this IPA? That doesn't create any kind of environment where it's going to lead to the two of you.
No, it's not. And hey, guys, we're not in college anymore. If you want to be a frat boy the rest of your life, go be one. That's what you want. And that's okay.
Right.
And you're going to be stuck with the internal cycle of unhappiness that leads down every road of a woman who will grow up and leave you.
Right. Eventually, the women do get to that point, usually a lot faster than the men.
And they will.
And they will. And then they'll just be like, oh my God, I am married to, or I am dating a frat boy. I'm dating an adolescent. Why is he spending so many hours on video games when I'm here?
Yep.
And she will always, or should always, be far more desirable for you to be with than the game. Well, and if you find the game more interesting, then you're not finding the things that she has to offer. That's what I think.
Well, you're, again, right on. And the problem, though...
I wasn't always this evolved. It's come along. He's
done a lot of work, guys. He's done a lot of work.
And I've asked a lot of questions. And I've asked why I did have an extended adolescence deep into my 30s, that I was still like, going out and hooking up with girls in the bars. Like, people are like, is that going to get old? No. Like, it didn't for way too long. And then at some point you're like, people are enjoying deeper, more quality, more fulfilled relationships. Where did I not get that memo?
Well, I'm going to speak to both groups. Guess what? The people you're looking for, if you've already outgrown the frat boy stage on both sides, whether you're a guy or girl, guess what? Don't go to the sports bar to find them, because that's what's going to be there.
Yeah.
Placement is everything.
That's true.
Put yourself in the space and place that you are capable of functioning. You will run into what you are looking for at some point.
Yeah.
But you can't expect to go meet Daddy Warbucks in, one of the local sports bars. Can that happen? Yes. Yeah. But 9 times out of 10, no.
And guys, you go to the sports bar because you're going to have fun. You think there's going to probably be some girls there, and there are. Go to the wine bar because you're going to have your pick of the litter there, and you're going to stand out a lot more there. So you can go back to the sports bar, but don't look at the sports bar as the place to meet the girls. Sports bar is a place to watch the Blackhawks game and eat your mozzarella sticks and hang out with the dudes. But when it's time, like, okay, I want to meet some girls, don't go there. Go to where you first of all, it's a better numbers game, and go where there's an environment where she feels more natural and better about it anyway. And there's probably girls listening to this be like, what are you talking about? Girls like sports bars too. I get it. You do. And there's outliers and there's exceptions to everything. Statistically, though, go to the wine bar.
Absolutely. And guess what, guys? They actually have the game on there now.
Yeah,
they
do.
At least all of them that I've seen. Because
the nicer restaurants have. But you know why that's happening? Because TVs look better.
They do.
You didn't have a shitty looking TV in the corner of a nice bar. It didn't used to be. Now the TVs, they're sleeker and they don't take away from the decor of the room. That's a huge change. Almost every place has a good looking TV, and they probably have the game on in the background, which is the way it should be for you. If the game's on in the foreground, you're not paying attention to her anyway.
And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, guess what? Now you have TV, and guess what? They have these wonderful things called bartenders and waitresses that you don't even have to know what kind of wine you like.
Right.
You can just ask them, tell them what you think it should taste like, and they will bring you samples. And if you're already starting to sample in front of a girl, they're going to think you know what you're talking about.
Right. There are 8 things you can learn about wine that makes you seem a lot more proficient in it than you should. You don't have to be a full-fledged sommelier to at least be conversational in wine.
So I just want the guys of the world to stop being so intimidated by women. Okay? It's like that is one of the major reasons I'm here. It's not only because they are being bashed by women or talked about, and unfortunately everybody's getting paired together. It's for lack of a better word, it's just, grouping and cliche. And, you have 5 bad experiences. All of a sudden, the whole entire world population of male is your enemy. And that's got to stop. And I want that to stop, but I want that to stop on the guy's side too. Women are not, they're not just a commodity either. And it's a mutual respect on both sides. And people need to evolve. Men, especially, again, we keep saying, grab them up, boys. Let's do this. Let's be more confident. I mean, you were when you were 12. 90% of men had more confidence in talking to a girl at 12 than they do now.
I know.
And it's like, you don't remember. Everybody remembers their first dance.
Right.
You got 25 girls that are 5 feet taller than you on the other side of the room, and you and your boys are over there like, crap, what do we do? And some parent comes along and shoves you together. Well, I'm that parent.
Right. Right. And guys, and then, you go through those phases like, oh my God, if only I can talk to her. Well, now you are talking to her. So take that shot. And if she rejects you, there's just as good a chance that that's about her in a moment as it is about you. Men are so afraid about being rejected. Women are so afraid of being hurt. I get that. Everybody's been rejected and everybody has been hurt. But if you continue to move forward with a positive, like the next one is going to be the right one, or at least a better one, I think you're going to be better off, right?
I think you are too. And listen, guys, talk to the pretty girl. Please.
Yeah.
They possess this thing called the curse of the pretty. No one talks to them because everyone thinks they're out of their league. And just because they're hot doesn't mean that they're a raging bitch. Okay?
Right.
It really doesn't. 90% of women who are very attractive are actually very nice and have a lot to talk about. And I think you'll be surprised. I mean, but don't come up and be all weird. You don't have to buy them a drink. Go up and say, hey, what's going on? Like you're talking to your sister or your mom or something. I mean,
you'd be surprised what pretty girls find attractive. Maybe even you. There's a lot of pretty girls like, what is she seeing him? I don't know, but that could be you, fellas. People find things and also, so take your shot. Don't be afraid. All right. We could talk about this all day. I'm going to have you back to talk about a lot of things, but this is your first time on the Great Love Debate podcast. And as you may or may not know, we play something called Worst Date or First Date. So you have either got to give us the greatest first date you've ever had or the absolute worst date you've ever been on. Your choice.
That's a tough one. I'm going to go with the worst because so that many people can identify with that. And it's coming from when the dating apps first came out. So I did not follow the guidelines of online dating, and I was post-divorce, so I was very fragile. Probably shouldn't even have been dating. Was, I guess, about 3 months into it, and my friends encouraged me to do online, and I did. Won't say which one, not to give them a bad rap. Finally decided after talking to 3 different people that I would go out with this guy. He was an average guy, had great conversation, picked a nice restaurant in Pompano, and I showed up and I valet. He shows up and he's pouring sweat, and he's, significantly larger than he portrayed himself to be, and which was fine, but
larger meaning wider, not taller.
He was a good 50 pounds heavier than what he thought. And that's fine. I'm a country girl. Okay. Whatever.
Noted.
So, but the fact that he was profusely sweating because he was too cheap to valet at the restaurant that he chose.
Oh, so he parked a distance.
He parked. God, the way he was sweating looked like he was probably, there, and I let it go. I don't know how far he walked, but clearly he did a marathon. And then
trying to get in shape for you.
Yeah, then we get there. There's no reservation in a reservation only place. My patience is fine. I'm like, all right, I'm new at this. Is this what we're doing? Then we sit down. Oh my God, zero conversation. And what we did have conversation about was everything was about his mother. Every single thing was about his mother. And I'm like, dear
like in
God,
what way?
I felt like I was talking to the new saga that's going to follow, Marshall and his mom, from Friday the 13th or whichever horror film that was. And then after no conversation, he was shaking the whole time, did not want to order any of the food because it was clearly out of his budget, and he picked the place. It was not my expectation. After having, one glass of wine, I excused myself, went to the bathroom, gave the lady my card to do my tab while I was in the bathroom, came back out, signed it, and told him that I had to leave, that I had something come up. I did not leave him sitting there, but I was horrified.
Did you give him a ride to his car?
No. He did walk me out, and he goes, that didn't go well, did it? I said, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. That was horrible. Oh. And I was like...
You graded him on the spot.
Well, he asked.
Okay.
So I'm very direct, and it wasn't it wasn't that he really was a bad person. It's that I don't know if it was his nerves. I don't know if it was that. And he was like, well, I'm just wound up about my mother. And I was like, clearly, I understand every problem your mother's had for the past 6 years. Guys, have a conversation in mind that is, just find something in the news to talk about. Find something that you can give commonality. I don't know your mother. I don't want to know about your mother on the first date, other than you have one and a good relationship with her. That's it. And it was terrible. It was terrible. I was like, go back to your mommy and cuddle up with her. She'll wash your sweaty clothes
just like
for
my
you.
Mother. Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah, no, that's creepy. That's creepy. That's creepy. And it's like, so I would say that pretty much.
Yeah, that's not good.
No, it was terrible. It was terrible. And yeah.
All right. Poor bastard.
I know. Poor little guy.
All right. Well, I'm glad that didn't scare you off from being back in the world eventually.
No, I wasn't scared.
You weren't like, oh my God, we need to reconcile with your husband.
Negative, Houston. Negative, Houston. Negative. We agreed to disagree.
All right. She is the ManFixer, and she will turn the dudes into caring, confident, and complete packages. You can find the ManFixer on all the podcast platforms. She's on some socials, right? She's percolating the socials. She's the ManFixer, Heather Leigh. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
As far as us, like, share, subscribe. Please review this podcast. Your reviews mean a lot in the podcasting ecosystem. Go to greatlovedebate.com. I